Hey, Mr. True here. I'm going to show you today how to play what I consider the 4 essential drum set grooves for rock styles, and you could even use them for country music. And we will use these rhythms for a lot of our jazz band tunes that are along the rock style, and also we'll use them during pep band. Of course, most of those songs are rock tunes anyway. And so I've broken this down into 2 sides on the paper. You have the first measure of each groove broken down to just what happens on each beat. And then in the second measure of each groove, measures 2, 4, 6, you have hi-hat. Rhythm is constant eighth notes on the hi-hat. And so measure 1, for example, does this. And this is, you want to keep a nice steady beat no matter how slow or how fast you play this. And measure 1 sounds like this. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I encourage you to do that until that is rock solid, rock solid. Everything else is built off of that very basic rhythm. Okay, now if you look at measure 2, after you've practiced 1 until that's really, really solid, measure 2 now we're adding an eighth note on the hi-hat in between each beat. And it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and again, practice as slow as you need to, slow and steady. Measure 3 now has an extra bass kick on the end of 3, so that when you play measure 3, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now that rhythm alone, sped up, it could stand alone as a pretty cool rhythm in itself. But now let's go to measure 4, where we add the eighth notes on the hi-hat, and it would sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so again, practice as slow as you need to, slow and steady. Measure 3 now adds a bass kick, not on the end of 3, but if you look at it, it's between beats 2 and 3. So that would be on the end of 2. It's on the end of 2. And measure 3 now, broken down again to just quarter notes, sounds like this: 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. So you can hear the eighth note on the bass drum in between beat 2 and 3. Now measure 6 incorporates the hi-hat eighth note, and it sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and when you speed that up, you've heard this rhythm a million times. It sounds like this. Okay, but again, practice it nice and slow and steady and even. Take it as slow as you need to. Okay, if you look at measure, if I could count right, and measure 7 is the same as measure 1. And the reason why I put that back down here again is because if you play measure 7 at a fast tempo, you will get a very, very common rhythm, both in some faster rock styles, but also in about every other country song, and styles that are folk styles. If there were drum sets in bluegrass, you would even have it in bluegrass. But it's a beat that incorporates the bass drum on every beat of the measure, and then the hi-hat is again every eighth note of the measure. But then the snare is on the end of each beat. And so if you take 7 again and you do it this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, and you simply just play that twice as fast, and you count it. Though the important thing is counting to understand that you're playing on every eighth note. It would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again, that's very, some would consider kind of a hokey style, but it's a great rhythm that happens a lot, and can be used about everywhere in every style. So those are the 4 main rhythms on drum set that we'll utilize here at Bolivar. and you'll find yourself using them in other places, whether you're playing a drum set at church or for the garage band down the street. So have fun practicing. Remember to keep it slow and steady, and come see me if you have any questions. Thanks.